Welcome to this video on how to record a high quality video. This video could be for your lead magnet, course, or maybe even for social media like YouTube. Recording a high quality video is essential for keeping your audience engaged as well as putting a level of professionalism forward for your audience. So it's important to test your setup in advance. So you can use softwares such as Google Meet, Zoom, or Loom, for example, and just make sure that you put your entire setup together, hit record, and assess your camera quality, your audio clarity, and the lighting before you actually get to creating the video. This is really important so that you don't have to re-record over and over and over again. So each time I record a video, I get my stuff set up, I record a little test video, I make sure that the quality and the sound is right, I make sure that the lighting is good, and then I will get moving on the recording. So if you find that your current setup is inadequate, consider upgrading your equipment. We have provided recommended tools for semi-professional recording in our blog post on this topic. So here are some essential components for a high quality video. The most important piece of equipment when you are recording is a high quality recording camera. We suggest a 1080p resolution or higher so that you have clear visuals. Often for home or office recordings, a good quality webcam, your laptop camera, or perhaps your iPhone could all be really good options. Just make sure that if you are using a iPhone or Android phone that you use a tripod to stabilize your phone. The second piece of equipment you want to also make sure that you are testing is to make sure that you have good quality audio. So built-in microphones often can produce poor quality sound. So investing in an external microphone can make a huge difference. When I first started out, I used my iPhone earplugs with the little strings that come down with the microphone. That worked. You can buy a little microphone that attaches to your computer as well. Here I use a Shure microphone, but there are other microphones available that are less expensive, like the Blue Snowball that we suggest. I would argue that this could be one of the most important. All of it's important, but this is probably even more important, is making sure that you have proper lighting. So this is going to enhance your video quality significantly. Natural light is ideal, but if you're filming indoors, you may need additional lighting as well. So sit in front of a window during the day with a good backdrop. That works really well. And make sure that you don't have the light coming from behind you. So a lot of people will sit in front of a window with the light coming backlighting, and that just makes you washed out and the visibility being the window. So for indoor filming, if you don't have access to a well-lit room, using a softbox light or ring lights to create a professional look and lighting situation could be beneficial. The next thing to think about is your backdrop or background setup. A clean professional backdrop is essential for keeping the focus on you and what you're saying in the video. A cluttered or distracting background can take the attention away from the actual content and reduce the overall quality of your video and engagement with your audience. So ideally, choose a neutral colored wall, have a tidy office space, and a backdrop that aligns with your brand. So for me, I have had situations where I look at videos and people are sitting with their messy kitchen behind them, or their crazy office, or a bookshelf that is disorganized. I see clients make this mistake often, and unfortunately, it's not a wasted video, of course, but it does take away from the level of professionalism that you're trying to put forward in your business. So if you have no other option and your background is busy and unorganized, consider using a solid colored backdrop or a virtual background for a polished look. Good lighting also helps separate you from the background, like I mentioned, and that creates a more visually appealing and professional appearance. The next thing you want to be thinking about is what to wear in your video. I'm not a vain person, but what you wear and how you appear in your video plays a crucial role as well. You want to put your best foot forward and make sure that you are arriving to record your video in a professional manner. And this includes what you're wearing. So make sure that you're choosing solid, neutral, or brand aligned colors that contrast well with your background and avoid that you blend in with the backdrop. You can see where I'm wearing a blush colored sweater, which is a neutral color, but also brand aligned and is very different from my backdrop. You also want to avoid distracting or overly bright colors or reflective materials like sparkles and things like that, especially if you're doing an educational video, as this can interfere with the camera and lighting and create all kinds of interesting, it's the same with glasses. It can create reflections that bounce off of these materials. If you're using a green screen, avoid wearing green to prevent blending into the background. Additionally, opt for well-fitted, comfortable clothing that actually makes you feel confident and presentable. What you wear deeply affects how you feel. You want to arrive and feel well while you are recording those videos. The next thing that you might find useful is to use a script and have a specific mode of delivery that works for you. So having a script ensures that you stay focused, clear, and engaging. Often people will record videos and ramble on and on and on and on and lose their audience. So here are some tips for scripting your video. Keep it concise and avoid unnecessary details. Obviously, if you have a story to add that helps to increase the understanding of what you're saying, then include that in, but try not to go on tangents. The second thing to think about is to start with a hook. You want to grab your audience attention within 5 seconds. So this should be about what you're talking about in the video, what they're going to learn and what they can take away, and then highlight key takeaways. So make sure your message is clear, right? Like I said, you want to make sure that the video is structured in a way that they hear maybe some of their pain points and then what their solutions are to those issues. At the end of the video, it's a great idea to have a call to action so that you tell your viewers what you would like them to do next. If it's a YouTube video, have them comment or subscribe and like. If you would like them to go and check out your blog, push them over there. If you would like them to check out a product, tell them about that product, but make sure that there is a clear call to action in your video. To make the delivery smoother, you can consider using a teleprompter app on your phone so that you don't have to memorize your script. I like to write a rough outline of the video that I'm going to be creating, plunk it into Notion or onto a Google Doc, and I just keep that open to the side with my notes so that I can refer back. Everything can be edited out. Try not to make it perfect, because if you try to make it perfect from the very beginning, trust me, you will be there for a very long time. The idea behind recording your videos, especially when you're first starting out, is just to do as many as you can and get well versed at it. Next thing to be thinking about, which people often forget about, is they make their video really dry. So your delivery of the content is just as important as the content itself. So you want to create a strong connection with your audience, make sure you're smiling, you maintain eye contact with the camera, and you use natural gestures as if you were talking to somebody who is sitting right across from you. We are really good at communicating our message with clients in person, but then when we get in front of the camera, sometimes we tend to get camera shy and think that it's different than if we were just trying to relay that information. So make sure your tone of voice in these videos is conversational, confident, and engaging rather than overly scripted or robotic. People won't stick around to listen. The more relaxed and genuine that you are, the more your audience will connect with you and what you're trying to either educate them on or what message you're trying to get across. Just make sure that you're yourself and that you're having fun. Videos don't have to be a scary part of your business. So before we wrap up the video, there's one more thing to keep in mind: handling mistakes in the video for smooth recoveries. Mistakes happen and they're completely normal, and this doesn't matter matter what type of video you're recording, podcast, lead magnet, chorus, doesn't matter. The idea is that if you stumble over a word or a concept or lose your train of thought, don't panic. Simply pause for a moment, take a breath, and start from a natural point in the sentence or paragraph. Maybe you need to go back to the beginning of the paragraph or the beginning of the sentence to get your train of thought back on track. This makes it easier for editing later and keeps your delivery feeling smooth and natural. Avoid reacting negatively to the camera or apologizing on camera, as it can make the mistake more noticeable. Instead, stay composed, just pick up where you left off with confidence. Leaving a brief pause before continuing allows for cleaner edits, making your final video more polished and professional as well. With practice, handling mistakes will feel effortless, and you are going to build the confidence in your recording process over time. Try not to put too much pressure on yourself and just enjoy the fact that you're able to give the information to your audience in a grander capacity. So there are some final steps before recording that I want you to keep in mind. So it's to test your setup. Like I said at the very beginning of this video, you want to do a trial run to check your video, your audio, and your lighting. To minimize background noise, if you're in a busy household or at the office, try and find a quiet space for recording so that we can eliminate the background noise. Make sure you're using a stable setup, so a tripod or your webcam, to make sure that you have smooth footage and it's not bouncing around or shaky. And lastly, engage with your audience. Make sure that you smile, maintain eye contact, and use gestures as if you were talking to somebody in real life. You want to make sure that your video is as natural as possible. Once you've recorded your video, review the footage and make any necessary edits before you post it or submit it for editing. If you have any comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, thanks for watching.